dogger.
It's a good lyric.
We're waiting for him to sing.
Yeah.
No tomorrow.
Not though.
Oh, that's so dark.
Sorry, no laughing.
Yeah.
We're dark.
Are we listening to the...
Are we doing the whole song?
No, we'll just...
Can we get Adzy to ad-lib now?
Sad world.
Ready? We want you to come in and do what you do best.
Well, you know
I'm
that
just
as
gonna...
well.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tone it down.
Clarry and Dogger, we miss Dogger, we can't kick a goal.
Just kick a fucking goal, you peanuts. Anyway.
And now we're gonna lose Clarry.
It's very, very sad.
Oh, God.
Welcome to the DeeBrief, the official, unofficial podcast of the Melbourne Football Club. Yeah, we're getting dark. We'll start dark and then we'll get flag at the end.
Oh, I think I'm gonna stay dark.
Okay, you can stay dark if you want.
I'm not saying I'm going to stay dark.
Okay.
I may. Well, it depends if
I'll feel however I feel.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't tell me how to feel.
Yeah, don't
Sorry.
put pressure on me.
I do that to Nuggets a lot. Tell him how to feel and he doesn't like it. What a couple of weeks it's been. So I just want to take us back. I want to take us back to the big Hive beating Collingwood on King's birthday. And just work through what has transpired since then. So one of the big headlines going into that game was Clayton Oliver, who we'll speak about in a lot of detail soon enough. And we thought that he was going to get up for that clash. He doesn't. We end up winning anyway. We're all calling flag. It was a great night. It was a great week after that. We had the bye. Everything was looking rosy again. We thought we got our mojo back. Going to the Geelong game, pretty awful conditions. Had them on the ropes. Couldn't put them away. A lot of people just saying, well, it's Geelong and Geelong. Like it is what it is. It's a fortress down there. Most teams lose to them. And then you come into the GWS game and kicking had become a huge issue and it was put on the agenda.
It's a disease.
It's a disease. And Marca and I were at the Railway Hotel sitting there probably during the first quarter and a half laughing at our inaccuracy, being a little bit self-deprecating, which Melbourne supporters are unbelievably good at. It's what we've lived off for most of our lives.
Still never thought we were going to lose, though.
No. Not in the
I was
first
just
quarter.
like, this is shit, but we'll have like a scrappy win.
But that's why we were laughing, because we were playing really well.
Yeah.
In that first quarter, we played really well.
We were laughing at the fact that in our message thread, we had perfectly picked apart how the first quarter was going to go.
Yeah.
So credit to Nuggets. He said we're going to kick 0-3 as a start. We were 0-3. We then kicked our first goal, 1-3. I said the quarter would finish 1-5. We're making these predictions on like Thursday. And then it actually came to fruition. And then, as Marcus said, it got infectious the more the game wore on. And then you get to that last quarter and we've got another team on the ropes and we just couldn't find that last killer blow. And then Josh Kelly decides to bomb one. I think it ended up being a 64-metre kick.
Oh, it was in the 70s.
It was crazy.
And
Whatever it was.
It was fucked either way.
It was a dagger.
And like, just
It
can we
was
have
an
one player
absolute
that
dagger.
can do that? And also, there's a bit to pick apart with that.
Yeah.
There was a couple of guys that were near the mark that just ran towards the square, so it gave him the opportunity.
Yeah,
to
I also
play
don't want to coin it just on that.
No, it's not just
we've
that.
lost
They're
it
like we
before.
lost it before that, but I mean, that's a team that takes their opportunity.
Yeah.
Like we have so many opportunities, and we don't take them.
Even still, with the amount of inside 50s that we had, I never thought, this is going to result in a goal. Like, you know, when it was coming in and we were like, here we go, stoppage, rush behind, kick out, stoppage, stop. It's just there's
How many marks?
Order. And I don't, the weather thing pisses me off. Like, if you're not good in the wet, like, I'm sorry, but you're just not a good team. Really good teams perform well in all conditions. They're clean, and that's got to do with like confidence. First touch is so important in conditions like that. And a lot of our players were great in that backline. A lot of midfield, like Salem, Bowie, May, like a lot of them were great. It's just that there's just no creativity, no dare, no confidence going forward, and Fritsch misses that first goal, and like that miss was,
he needed that.
Oh,
no, we needed it as a club.
Like that miss just like set the tone, and the players see that happen, and then they just go. Ugh.
Petrarca missing that one on the run, end of the first. So many examples. And then anyway, we end up losing the game. We find out a couple of days later that Fritter's out for 7 to 8 weeks, probably only comes back for finals. I can't believe I'm saying that, if we get there.
Yeah, but it's like
an
injury like this, like it's always longer. Those little foot bones or whatever.
Potentially.
They're always horrible, man.
Yeah, and I think the thing with Fritsch, it's like, okay, if he's 7 to 8 weeks and it all goes well, is he the same scenario as Salem? Like Rolls Royce?
Yeah.
Bring him back in straight away.
If you're fit, he plays senior football. Yeah. He's too smart. He's like, he just plays senior football.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, if you're fit, like if you're 100% ready to go, if anything, that's a really nice thing, because by the time finals comes around, everyone's just so battered and like bruised and mushy and just, you know, you're just working on empty.
So maybe it'll work out.
Yeah, I like this. Let's
maybe
get some more injuries.
So Clarry and, who knows how long Clarry's out for fuck's sake. He was meant to be out for
Well, that's the next part. So the next part is we go Collingwood high, Geelong low, should have won that, kept the door ajar. They ran over the top of us. We go into the GWS game. I agree with Marca. Not one part of me until Josh Kelly actually kicks that bomb did I think we were going to lose. Like, even when we were 3 goals down in the third, I thought we'd rally and find a way, which we did to get back into it.
We controlled the game. Yeah. And I think Naughtsie was you that was saying, not that this really matters, but GWS didn't deserve to win that game. And the carry on from lots of the, commentary and stuff, which just annoys me a little bit, is it's like, oh, what a win from them. I feel like they should more so be like, that's a shit win and you got away with it.
Yeah, but the other thing is, it's like, did you see, I've forgotten his name, the Giants coach, what's his name? It's lost to me. Kingsley. He said in the press, like, we were not the better team today. Like, and that was one of the first things he said. So for the opposition coach,
better than McCallum.
Yeah, but for the opposition coach to say it, that's all I need. And like, even still, like, whatever.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter anymore. The funny thing when it comes to AFL for me, as opposed to the other sport that I love equally, being soccer, football, for the purists out there, football, is. Is in that particular sport, the round ball. I would just call it the round ball now instead of the egg-shaped ball.
A bit sphere.
Bit soccer.
Is that sometimes the best team loses because, as we know, goals are scarce. It can be 1-0, it can be 1-0, 2-1, whatever, right? So you have... Like, it happens not frequently, but you have scenarios where another team absolutely smashes another side, hits the post, misses a penalty, gets done on a counter-attacking sucker punch in the same way that we kind of did against GWS, and you lose. And I've always said that in soccer, the word deserved, it doesn't mean shit. It's more results-driven more than any other sport I know. It's about the actual outcome. When it comes to footy, typically, in my opinion, I think generally vast majority of the time, 90, 95% of the time, the team that wins all those key indicators that we won on the weekend normally finds a way to win. They normally win. And it didn't happen on the weekend. And it was hard to stomach, but the point that where I'm coming to with it now, having thought about the last 6 weeks, and the 4 games that we've lost that all could have been won if we'd taken our chances, is I'm starting to come around to the idea of like, you're actually not a really good team if you're not putting teams away.
We're not.
So I'm kind of getting sick of Simon Goodwin saying, oh, we've got contest in great shape. We've got our defense in great shape. Absolutely, we do. I'm really proud of that. But the game is about scoring and finishing.
But also,
that's the only way you can fucking win. So I'm getting a bit annoyed about that narrative.
Soccer, this pissed me off here.
Why we're still on soccer?
No, we are.
Get off soccer.
No, but in soccer, no, I'm actually going to the soccer corner here. Like they've got a smaller goal and they're going against the keeper.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about professional AFL footballers and we're going at 29% over the past 4 weeks. They have to kick between 2 big sticks in front of goal. It's almost harder to miss that amount of goals. Like what the fuck are they doing? Just kick a goal. How is it that hard to kick a goal? I just can't understand it. Like amateur footballer teams would be better than what they're doing at the moment.
The thing is, it's in their head. So for me, it's like
there's no pressure there. I'm sorry, there's 500 people there.
For sure, but like it's like they've missed it before they've kicked it a lot of the time. It's like.
So do you think then if Bailey Fritsch kicks that first goal, and we'll talk about going into this week against the Saints, if we kick the first goal instead of it being behind, do you reckon that changes something in our players' heads as a whole, as a whole team?
I just reckon it's the butterfly effect. I just think if you start well, it's just a catalyst for what kind of like comes after that. And I've been a big believer in that in football since forever. Like if you miss the first 3, the first 4, it's just like, and you dominate play, the opposition goes down the other end and just gets a goal over the top. Like it breaks you. Like, I used to play, we all used to play a game. When that happens, like you dominate the play, you don't put scoreboard pressure on, and they get one at like, you just go,
it's deflating.
Fuck, we have to get that. But like, how did they get that so easy? All right, go back to square one. And it's just been that for like a couple of weeks now. And it's like, you talk about the Collingwood game. That even like, yes, we beat them, but it just felt a bit weird as well because we just couldn't kick the goals and it was so infuriating.
To put them
and they
away.
almost got us. Like,
yeah, they almost got us. And this is the compounding thing for me. And we're about to talk about the Clayton situation because that's the loop since the Collingwood win. That's all these different things that have gone awry and fallen apart. And it like the exclamation mark is the news that we just got before about Clarry missing some extra weeks. The thing that kills me the most, more than anything else in this past 6 weeks is in the first 9-10 rounds, we were the most accurate team in the comp. We were kicking goals out of our ass. There were press conferences with Goody and various others and people bringing up Mark Choco Williams and champion data people talking about how we were kicking well and above our expected scores and our accuracy was the best they've ever seen. It's so Melbourne, it's so Melbourne, and this has happened in other seasons before where like 2004 haunts me. We're on top of the ladder after, I think, round 18. We just smashed Hawthorn. Lost the last 4 games in a row out of nowhere after showing brilliant form, people saying that like we could win the flag. We lose to Essendon in that first elimination final. We've had so many different circumstances over the journey where we've been in red hot form and then somehow fallen off a cliff. The fact that we've gone 10-12, 8-13, 8-18, 8-15 and 5-15 in those last 5 matches after being the most accurate team in the comp by a considerable margin is just mind-boggling.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that happen?
How
does that happen?
I think like
it's wild. It's wild.
And that goes back to it being like an infectious thing. But like when it comes, I think the goal kicking will turn around. Like I think we'll kick more goal, but still the issue with coming in to the forward line, it's
terrible.
Our forward line makeup is it's not flag material. It's so far from it.
No, it's not.
It's so far from it. And
well, do a simple exercise, Marca. Go through the teams. So I did this on the review show, and I said,
and I'm saying that because Fritsch is out.
Yeah, but
I was just about to ask that. I was going to say, well, it's not that different to when we did win the flag.
Yeah, but now, Brownie's a couple years older. Tom McDonald isn't the
Around.
player, he was.
Will he ever play again?
And that's two key. That's your two key posts.
Yeah.
And we're relying on a kid who is in his first, who's done an amazing job. I love JVR and what he's done this year. But
Can only ask so much from someone.
But
that
like,
young,
you
His
know,
numbers are impressive.
we're in a window at the moment. The window's open. And like, you don't get many windows in football life. You know what I mean?
So what's
like,
your message to the recruiters?
Get a fucking key forward, dogs. You can. We've got a good draft hand coming up. And I hate that we're looking at the draft now already. Like, but this is the conversation we're having. You have to do all you can to bring talent in to fill that void.
I'm just going to try and be slightly positive for a second.
No, do it.
I don't know if either of you read the AFL article where they talked about us compared to 2021. And we've pretty much, in a way, mirrored what we've done in 2021, where we went through 5 or 6 games and we started missing goals, and we actually lost the GWS on the G.
Remember
when
that.
we thought we were going to beat them, and that's just happened again in Alice Springs. Our goal kicking, I think, this year is a bit lower. It's at 29 or 30. I think then it went down to 32%. And then after the GWS game, we flicked it. There was some spark or whatever that happened. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but as a supporter, I'm trying to hold on to that, and I'm hoping that against St Kilda, something turns.
Yeah. Yeah. And look,
all I'm trying to say is I don't think it. I'm not putting a line through us yet, but if we lose to St Kilda, it's very close.
if things continue the way that they are, then it's a dirt that you put a line through us. But
put a line through us if we lose to St Kilda.
yeah,
I mean, people will sit there and go, "There's 7 games left," but in my opinion,
but you look at the teams above us, like they are just so far in away. Like, and you look at.
But
you look at their weapons up forward. Like they have finishes.
But again, we've played them.
Fritsch is out, man. He's our best
Marca.
He's our best forward.
Also,
Darcy Moore playing on Fritsch.
We also
we
beat Collingwood.
Yeah,
we lost to Port in the wet by 4 points.
Yeah, but we also, I mean, there was a lot.
As a total in the last 4 rounds or 5 rounds, we've lost by a total of 25 points or something.
Yeah, but we lost.
Yes, we still lost, but I'm saying you're making out as if there's a huge gap between us. I don't think there's a massive gap. I just think we need to fix a few things up.
Well, with Port, I felt like they should have beaten us by a lot more.
I think we just need to win a game of footy.
Collingwood, they were missing a lot of their
but we
talent.
don't need to just win a game of footy. We need to convincingly win one and kick more goals than behinds. And I don't mean to be going against you because I love you.
No.
But it is.
I'm into it.
It is. Like, we are a good team, and that's what kills me.
Yeah, I think we are a good team
and
as well.
And I feel like something just isn't clicking at the moment. Obviously, there's injuries that are involved in that as well. We didn't really have that in 2021. So now we find ourselves in a position where you sort of look at the coach, and he needs to make some serious moves, whether that's making a Petrarca go forward, or even like, I love your idea of making Bowie going forward. Like, he kicked our second goal against GWS as a backman. Like, the backman's holding the team up, and then he's kicking at one of our only goals. Like, change something and do something.
I like even putting.
I think Pickett has to play full forward and just like stay next to Ben Brown like the whole game or something. Or he has to play what he has to do what Charlie Cameron does for Brisbane.
Yeah, put Chris McVie up on a wing. The guy genuinely moves. I'm not saying he's going to be like this guy because he's one of the all-time greats, but he actually moves like Pendlebury. He's so clean.
He's very good.
He never fumbles. He never makes a mistake. Putting him on a wing, knowing how adept he is from a kicking
Well, we can do that
perspective-
when someone like Hibbert comes back into the
But yeah, potentially. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm just like, we need to. What the Fritsch injury does for us is it forces us into some of that change. It might not necessarily be a bad thing, but then the good thing about this week is hearing Petrarca in his press conference, or he did something with Channel 7, hearing Goody, hearing a couple of the other players talking about how they know that their connection and their entry going inside 50 has been shithouse. Like, they know. And this is the thing. We sit there as supporters and we see the same thing happening over again and we think, well, fuck, they're not training. They're not working on it. They are working on it.
Yeah.
Of course they're working on it. They would know it and feel it more than anyone else. They can't ignore it. They know that we've got issues at the moment when it comes to connection and goal kicking. they know it needs to be addressed. So I think the one thing is, like, for all those naysayers and all those people that are just piling on and being super negative and they just want to get dark, and if that's your prerogative, like, cool, whatever. We like getting dark at times too. But, like, they definitely know what the issues are and they're doing everything in their powers to rectify it. It's going to be interesting. I'll make this last point before you go, Adzy. It's going to be really interesting under a roof. So we play in the wet conditions down in Geelong. We play in 8-degree, windy, wet conditions in Alice Springs.
In dry season.
In dry season, which is crazy. This week, we get a dry deck under a roof. No excuses when it comes to forward half connection and goal kicking. No excuses. Yeah. Zero.
So you've set me up well there, because I was just going to say, this week, for me, like, me trying to be slightly positive still is this game. If we don't deliver against the Saints, then I am, like, it's done. Like, it's as simple as that. There is no excuses. The team's come out and said we've never spent more time doing goal kicking before practice. Like, yes, we've got a few outs. We're a good team. Just fucking win and kick a heap of goals, and then we'll believe again.
I think it is only one win away from reigniting. The thing that what would have happened if we just got over the line against GWS, I think we would have convinced ourselves, and the coaching group and the players potentially would have convinced themselves that, well, we got the chocolates, we're back on track. The actual beautiful thing about losing, and using the word beautiful and losing, I've never heard anyone say that before, but I'm going to run with it.
I hated that.
Keep
going.
Is this. They cannot not address what could potentially end up being a problem for the rest of the season without losing, because I think the weird thing with Melbourne for me is I think they're a little bit stubborn and a little bit arrogant. Once we get on a roll on, we just kind of like, yeah, we go through the motions, like the Gold Coast game. We're like, well, we're on this winning streak. Who cares? We won by 5 points. We should have drawn that game. We could have potentially lost that game. And they're like, well, we got the chocolates, and they don't really care. Comes back to that whole idea of Simon Goodwin not reviewing the semi-final against Brisbane. I thought that was incredibly arrogant. He's like, it wasn't us. It's not our brand. It's not our DNA. I'm like, mate, we lost in a massive game on the big stage. Like, go back and review it.
They better review it before fucking next week.
Like, go and figure out what went wrong. Like, that's what you do. When you don't get something right, you go back through and you audit it and you try and figure out, like, solutions to the problem next time. Especially when you come up against Brisbane next week, as you said. Melbourne, the thing I'm trying to say, Marca, is like, if we had just got over the line against GWS, they would have looked at all those stats that we were up in, and the expected score had us winning by 6 goals. And they would have been sitting in that dressing room this week talking about how they're back on track and how they don't have any issues. It still wouldn't have excused us from the fact that our forward half connection is shit. Because it was deplorable on the weekend. It's been deplorable for the last 5 or 6 weeks. It doesn't take away from the fact that that part of our game is not right. A win would have papered over the cracks. They may not have addressed it as much as they are right now, because it's been exacerbated by everyone in the media. All the supporters are talking about it. You can't not feel it, see it, live it and breathe it this week if you're a Melbourne player or a coach. So my hope is it's like, okay, if your defence and your contested game is in such great shape, then at least they know moving forward, even if we win this week, it still can potentially be a problem for us. If we win this week, it doesn't mean that just in 1 week you've magically been able to solve your forward half woes. We need to consistently show over a period of time that we can fix that part of our game. So losing on the weekend potentially means that they cannot ignore what could be a bigger problem later in the season. We have to get that right week on week and improve at it week on week if we're going to have any serious chance of doing anything this season. That's my way of trying to rationalise and trying to be positive and see the upside moving forward.
Yeah, I just think that
maybe
like doing something like, they're doing all the work for goal kicking and whatnot, but it's like you look at the other contenders and then they're not in like some kind of like crisis mode in like spending 2 hours of goal kicking every day or some whatever they're bloody doing. Like I'm just trying to be a realist as much as possible.
Not even contenders though.
Yeah, no,
look
but
at like an Adelaide.
No, but like I just look at the teams above us, and I just they have weapons that we don't have, and taking Fritsch out of that forward line, like I honestly can't understate as much as I can about how just important that guy is to our forward makeup. And yeah, we have a very similar forward line from when we won the premiership, but that was a couple years ago. You know, Brown. I have faith in Brown that he can come a bit better, but we don't have T-Mac.
Do you have one player or one sort of switch that Goodwin could do that could maybe change something, or are you pretty much sold that the forward line is pretty much done until Fritsch comes back?
I mean, I would be looking at it as if Fritsch isn't going to come back at all this year. They're claiming 8 weeks, but like as I said, like those foot breaks are there.
Top of the foot.
They're shocking, man. Remember Mitch Clark when he like just fell over and broke his little foot and he was out for
Trent Crode.
Yeah, they're shockers. They're really bad injuries to get. But you prefer a broken arm like how? So because you just know.
But with our forward line now, and just trying to put a coach hat on, is there any way that you believe that we can compete with the contenders? It may not even be the forward line. It may be something in the midfield where we need to kick more midfield goals or something like that. Is there any way that we can change it in your mind?
Well, and then the Oliver thing is just like another just added like dagger because. You know, you could look at a Petrarca playing up forward if Oliver was, you know, controlling the midfield a bit more.
We can't play him full forward. There's rumours.
Not the whole.
No. I'm not saying. There's rumours going around that he might play full forward.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
No, but we can't. Why would
he might go there for a little bit.
Yeah, but why would we do that?
It's just not going to happen.
But why would we do that? We need his grunt and his explosiveness.
Because it's not going to happen. So it's not even. But I'm saying if that was the case where we had Oliver, you could look at a Petrarca playing a 5 to 10 minutes a quarter in the forward 50.
Yeah,
but that goes back to my point. Pickett, you have to just play deep forward for the rest of the year and try and... I reckon he's going to come back into form because he's just like such a special player. Brown will only be better for playing under the roof at the Dome. I still think he competed pretty well. But it's just, you know, people like Chandler and Nibbler
Lift.
They're just like they're not like an Elliot.
What would you think?
Jamie Elliott or like I'm just thinking like Cam Rayners. They just have these other weapons that we just don't have them.
What would you think about like there's a lot of discussion on Max Gawn and Brodie Grundy, and I think we can all agree that Gawn hasn't been his best, and possibly because he's sharing the ruck role. Is it worth trying to put even which one of them, like even Max forward for a half and just let Grundy play in the ruck?
You'd have to play Max forward because Grundy
can't really. Max actually
Grundy's
takes
awesome
marks
in the ruck. Like I love what he does in the ruck.
So is that a forward option then?
Yeah, and I think they would have to.
But
look
I
at
feel
that.
like
but
they need to stick
Grundy,
to it.
Besides Grundy in the ruck, I'm not confident in him playing anywhere else. If I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree. And then as soon as you take Max away from that sort of defensive game that he plays, then it puts a bit of pressure under your levers and Mays as well. So it's a hard call.
I've got a couple for you. So I'll quickly rattle these off.
When do teams come out? Sorry,
they come out in about 15 minutes. We'll talk about Clarry. we'll talk about Clarry in a second.
Yeah, let's get dark.
The Clarry situation.
Still in the pile.
Been interesting. No, the pile. I don't think the pile's coming out. I think we're waiting for St Kilda result.
Yeah.
And it feels unnecessary doing a pile without Nuggets.
Yeah.
Nuggets will think we're shirking it.
Yeah, no, but I just...
It's Nuggets' thing, isn't it?
No, it's we all... I mean,
we all love the pile.
I'm probably like it the least, but yeah. I like it.
Well, in fairness, it's pretty hypocritical of us, considering we were looking at that post that, what was it, My Heart Beats True, put up of Petrarca.
Oh, yeah, people who have been...
And they're like, why are you calling... Yeah, but people... calling out Petrarca. Like, there's names that you can call out. You're mad
if you call out that bloke. Like, without him, we lose another 5 games.
Yeah, he's kicked 4 behinds, but at least he's got fucking 4 touches compared to
just
other
call
players.
out A and B.
Yeah. Do it. Make it easy. Make it easy on yourself and call out.
I'll do a couple of exercises for you. So this isn't really a pile, but we're going to go through it. So top 8, I'm going to read out all the other 7 teams. and we're just going to go through and go, do they have a better forward line than us?
Yes.
Collingwood,
Yes.
Port,
Yes.
Yeah.
Brisbane,
Yes.
St Kilda,
No.
Nah.
on par, I reckon. Bulldogs,
Mm,
100%.
Yeah,
Norton,
Jamara's
Jamara.
Is-
starting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually, yeah. I was just about... No, don't worry.
But
Adelaide.
our role players. Oh yeah,
Adelaide's forward line is
so
sick.
party. Yeah.
Honestly, if we could play like Adelaide, like that's
Give us a fog.
what we need to do. Like they're so...
And then the last one.
Fuck.
Oh, Geelong, yes.
Well, Essendon. No,
No.
I don't think so.
No.
They've got Chufter in there.
Sam
They got-
Weedman.
They got. I mean,
But there's two-
our role players
But
when
hang
they're
on, we're talking Michael, we're talking about St Kilda and Essendon. When you roll through all the other teams, Collingwood, Port, Brisbane, Bulldogs, Adelaide,
You didn't even
they're-
do Geelong.
well, they're not in the 8.
Oh well, they're better than.
But
they're gonna get in the eight.
we're just talking forward lines.
No, but
though,
I'm
right?
I'm talking about the fact that, like, I know you don't have to have. It's funny, you don't have to have the best forward line to win the premiership. You have to have a bloody good defense.
Yeah.
Have to.
Yeah.
It's more important.
But
It's been proven.
But let's go through the defensive. I want to talk about just the three,
Oh.
three above us,
No,
because I don't think anyone else can win the flag.
no, but you go like this. You go like this, and you go,
like Geelong and Port and Brisbane.
No, Brisbane, Port, Collingwood,
and Melbourne are the only 4 that can win it.
and I think
I said
I think
Geelong.
I think for me, I think it's Collingwood or Brisbane that are really like.
But then
I
if
don't
you're a
have
Brisbane
Port
supporter,
as
like you
much.
lost to Hawthorn. Like are they dark?
I don't-
They were
think
probably
that- that's
loading.
fine,
They
that's
came off a
fine.
bye.
We lost to some bad teams
So
when
then-
we won the flag. That doesn't matter. I don't
What
think-
happens
Yeah,
if we
it's
come
okay.
out and we win this week and then beat Brisbane at the
Flag.
Gem?
Then it's
Do
flag.
we flag again?
Yeah,
Is that top
100%.
top?
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
now. Oh, we haven't done it yet.
No, we're
No.
jumpers on at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm about to put my scarf on. No. Like, don't get me wrong, it can change, but like at the moment, like there's a lot that has to change.
Well,
for
I
it
want you to go through this quickly so we can talk about Clarry.
Ugh.
All right. So if we start at the back right now, we're going to say if they're performing well or not. We're going to go tick or put a line through them. Judd McVeigh, absolute tick.
Yeah. Tick.
Stephen May,
Tick.
Harrison Petty,
Tick.
Tick. Just
very
tick the
good,
whole
very
back
good
line.
last week.
Starting to become, yeah.
Salem,
Tick.
massive
Him
tick.
coming back into the team.
Awesome.
Thank
Yeah.
fuck for him.
Yeah, he's been so
And
good.
Bowie.
Yeah, Jake Lever,
Yeah.
he gets
Yeah.
a tick.
Tick.
Rivers,
Tick.
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 Here we go.
Bowie was on the bench, so we'll give him a tick. I'm just looking at the lineup the way it was constructed last week. All right, Lockie Hunter.
He's been ticked the last couple of
Tick.
weeks.
Yeah, he's a tick.
What do we call him here? Jack Viney.
Oh, hero.
Yeah, just doing
The
it.
biggest tick.
Yeah.
Cloud.
Ed Langdon. No.
No. Huge
No.
cross.
Which is
Yeah.
sad because we love him and he's not playing well. Christian Petrarca.
Tick.
He's
Massive
a tick. He's been
Well,
good.
Of course he's a
No,
tick.
he's a massive tick.
Bailey Fritsch. Well, he's injured now, so that's sad. Tom Sparrow has been good, I reckon, in Clary's absence.
Yeah,
I'm
he's-
giving him a tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving him a tick.
He's a hyphen.
Alex Neil-Bullen.
See ya.
Yeah, fuck off.
Ben Brown.
Oh, he's still
give
got
him
a
more
lot-
time,
yeah, more
hyphen.
time.
Hyphen. Nuggo's favourite, Joel.
Oh, see ya.
Oh, fuck off.
Max Gorn.
Not. I mean,
Hyphen.
if we have, if
Probably
we have,
no.
Cross.
Yeah. Which is sad. We love him and he's
I'm
a legend
sorry.
of the club.
To his ability,
yeah, you got.
he is a barometer for us.
Yeah.
And if he plays to the best of his ability, we win those 3 games that we lost by under a goal.
He was starting to market a bit, even in trying conditions.
Like it's
Cozzy,
cross.
Cross.
which kills again because he's a bit of a barometer. Harmsy,
Big no.
bad. Stop
He-
doing the don't argue shit.
I think
Sick of it.
he
Not
can't
Dusty.
I'm so sick.
Play,
of it.
he can't play this week, can he? Not after that performance.
It was a bad performance. It was really bad for someone coming in trying to stake a claim. It was bad.
Yeah.
You and I were like, oh, mate,
He's
stop fending off.
no, just like
Every
Surely
time-
JJ gets in for him.
Oh, he was brilliant. 41 touches,
41 and a goal.
9
yeah,
tackles.
Give him the sub.
Yeah. yeah. And then we'll drop him against the Lions.
Brody Grundy, hyphen. He's actually been better than
I'm giving
Max
him a
in
tick.
recent weeks.
I'm giving him a tick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's been
I reckon
good in
he's
the right.
been.
Okay.
Did you see the champion Data's All Australian team? Up
Is he in
until-
it?
He's in it as the ruckman, first ruckman.
Wow. Okay. Gus.
whatever that means.
Gus is hyphen, but I thought it was the cleanest he's been last week in a long time. But I'm going to give him a hyphen because I've got high expectations for him.
Yeah, hyphen.
Yeah, he's similar to Max Arias.
Yep, that's fair. Well, they do a pod together. They're bros. Cade Chandler.
No,
Cross.
not a play.
Almost think he'll get omitted.
He hasn't kicked a goal in 6 weeks.
Almost think he'll get omitted. He's been very, very
Sorry, if
down.
you're playing forward
Mm.
and you're not kicking a goal, and I think it's far. I don't know.
He's kicked 1-9
the
or something
stats.
in 6 weeks. Yeah,
In 6 weeks, like
it's not good enough.
see ya.
Yeah, it's not good
Yeah.
enough. So the point I've made there is we've gone Cade Chandler, Joel Smith, Alex Neil-Bullen, right? Ed Langdon. There's about 5 to 6 players that we just pretty much put a line through in recent weeks. Guess where they play and what their importance is to the team? Forward half and goals.
Mm.
And they're not performing. We could get really harsh and talk about how Petrarca's missing so many.
No, we can't.
But the work that he
be
does
harsh
in the
on
middle,
Petrarca.
right? The work that he's not hitting targets.
He also
going
takes
inside.
very low percentage shots, which we love.
Yeah.
He's not.
And also he's one of the guys that he's
We're
getting
not
the ball.
bashing
He's getting the
Petrarca at
ball
all. He's
out
been
because we
mental
kick
this
it into
year.
our forward line and we can't take a mark because the delivery's so bad, and also we don't have a big forward. It means that we get a stoppage or we get a ball in, which means that Petrarca gets it and then he puts it on the boot quickly and either kicks it out on the full or kicks it behind. Like, yes, if he's missing his set shots, it's not ideal, but he is not someone that anyone can have a go at.
And you're right. A lot of his shots, and I've said this before, it's like it's mental that he even has a shot in some of those circumstances where he's just ripping the ball out of the pack and kind of putting it on the boot. Like, it's not like they're all set shots like slide angle 20 meters out. Like there's don't get me wrong, a lot of them are gettable, but also a lot of them are pretty mental that he's having a shot.
It's a basic exercise, but the reason why I wanted to do that, I thought of going through that this morning, is like from the back through the midfield to the defence, it's pretty clear to see which players are letting us down when it comes to forward half connection, kicking goals. That's obvious. The other thing, and I'm going to turn this into a positive, we're getting it in there so much. I do believe that like tidying up those smaller elements isn't a massive fix. I don't think it's a huge fix. It kills me that Salem and Bowie and Chris McVie, who are technically our best ball users, are all in the back half. That's what hurts. We have no issues getting the ball in contested areas in our in our back half and rushing it out and getting to the halfway line. But my God, like if we could clone a few of those boys going inside 50, we'd be so much better off. I don't think it's a massive fix. The other thing I've said
I
a
think
lot.
Spargo has to come in.
Yeah,
I think
I was gonna
Spargo's
say the
in
same.
And also like
Yeah.
before he had that weird kind of knock to the head, like he was in awesome form.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of like, you know, he was obviously out of the team and they were kind of winning. It's kind of difficult to get back in the team in those kind of circumstances just for a matter of we've obviously got a plethora of that type of player, but I just feel like he has to come back into the team to kind of just tidy things up a bit.
Well, he is one of the best kicks going inside 50.
Yeah.
Statistically, we need that. The other thing as well is we know this. We don't have to be footy experts. We know that Collingwood, Port, Brisbane, Bulldogs, Adelaide, not going to call out St Kilda and Essendon because I just don't think they're in a conversation of doing damage in September if they make it. Throw Geelong in there. All of those teams, and we know this, they're better skilled teams. Melbourne have always prided themselves on making it ugly, the defensive side, keeping a team to a score of 60 points, will score 80, 90 or whatever, right? And get a result. So we know that our style and our method isn't going to be as attractive as all those other teams because we've invested in, we're going to play that zone defense, we're going to play that forward half game, we're going to trap it in, we're going to make it really hard for you to move the ball against us. That's us. In 2021, we didn't win attractively until the finals. Our brand was ugly and messy, and Stephen May would come out and Jake Lever would come out and they'd say, we love making it a slugfest.
Yeah.
Like, that's us. That hasn't changed. That's still the way that we play our footy. So the thing that gives me confidence is...
confidence is the key word there, and we don't have any of that at the
Well,
moment. And that's what they need.
Do you know how simple confidence is to regain in sport?
It's winning the next 2 games.
Mate, it is getting a win. It's tidying up your connection.
Yeah.
Even getting 10-15% better in goal kicking.
Yeah.
Kick an 11-11 this weekend.
Yeah.
For all I care.
Yeah.
Like, kick an 11-11 and keep St Kilda to a score of 6-7 goals and just go and win the game. I think it's not as bad as you think, and it's a lot closer than what we probably think it is at the moment in terms of getting our mojo back. I was just saying before you took a gentleman's break, we're not as far off as we think because we've always been the side that's prided ourselves on making it ugly and being defensive. The 2021 final series was not us.
It was a party.
Well, it's not our brand. We don't play that way. We just let the shackles off and it just worked and it was unbelievable.
That's pretty cool.
Can we let them off again?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not going to... It's not going to happen. We're going to just grind games out. And
But there's a chance.
There's always a chance. But my point is...
Oh, mate, confidence is...
Put it this way. Imagine if we were getting beaten comprehensively, we were getting smashed in the midfield. We actually turned clearances around, contested possessions, all that shit's in our favour. Defence is amazing. Imagine if we were losing games where defence was leaking an avalanche of goals. They looked fucking all at sea. Midfield was getting beaten up and we were losing games. We'd be sitting here going, yeah, there's no hope in hell we can turn this around.
Out of every area of the ground, as a coach, that you can try and fix up, we've probably got the right one. Like, if your defence is probably the most important, and we know how good our midfield is, I feel like a forward line is something that you can tidy up.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm excited about Wowie coming in.
Taj.
And I've got a feeling he's going to have one of the great debuts.
Yeah, it's big.
I'm feeling a couple of goals.
Yep.
No behinds. I heard you say 11-11. I'm not going to be happy with that. I want like 15-7.
Okay. I'll take an 11-11 and a win at the moment. That's where I'm at. That's where I've got to. What is 11-11? That's 77 points.
No, I want more. We need to hit the ton.
Hit the ton?
Yeah.
Okay. I look forward to your prediction. Clayton Oliver, before we get to teams, we have to speak about it. It'd be remiss of us not to. So news comes out before. He's going to be out for another 3 to 4 weeks. Might even go to the statement that the Dees wrote. So your brother Sam's been big on this. And he's been chirping up in the thread not too long ago just about how it hasn't really been communicated to the supporters properly. And everything's been behind closed doors. Alan Richardson came out and said Clayton has a complex hamstring injury due to the fact that the injury is located where the muscle attaches to the tendon. And to further complicate that, there is injury to 2 separate hamstring muscles. Okay. So he goes on and then he speaks about the fact that he's going to be out for another 3 to 4 weeks. We take it at face value, like it is what it is, or is there something else going on? Because this has been an absolute debacle. Guy gets a hamstring injury and suddenly he's got an infection, a blister that's infected, goes into hospital. He comes out of hospital. We're told that he's not too far off. He re-injures at training apparently yesterday. Not to mention that when he first did his hamstring, he was running in the days thereafter. I spoke to a mate who's a physio at one of the AFL clubs about it, and he said probably shouldn't be running like a few days after it. So I'm trying to ascertain, is it mismanagement by the medicos in the club? Is it the player being bigger than the club, trying to do what he wants, not listening to the information? Is he being negligent? Is it on Clayton more than the medical staff? Or is there something else at play? All I know is it's just been an absolute shambles. This is our best player. This is a generational player. It's a player that we need back in the team ASAP if we're going to do anything. It's potentially costing us games. I think if you've got a Clayton Oliver in the team in the last 6 weeks, you probably win 2 of those 6, and you've gone 4-2 in the last 6 weeks, which looks good. You're 11-4. We thought he was going to come into the team for the Carlton game and then the Collingwood game, and it didn't happen. Are you frustrated as a supporter about the situation because it hasn't been clearly communicated, or do we just take what Alan Richardson has said at face value?
I just the communication thing is whatever. Like clubs they like keeping their cards close to their chests. For me,
We should know.
I think it's just so rare this day and age that a hamstring can be re-injured in the way that it has happened in doing run-throughs.
Yeah.
Like, what? This doesn't happen anymore. It's not like back in the day where people just like would try and come back from it 1 to 2 weeks. This has already been 3 or 4 weeks, and now he's re-injured it. Like, we don't know where. This is just complete speculation about, is it Clarry saying that he's fine and just going a bit harder than he should have? But regardless, if he's not listening to the physios properly, or if they're pushing him, either way, it's fucking so dumb, man. Like, this does not happen anymore. Like, this kind of re-injuring and another 3 or 4 weeks?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I just
Are you furious, or are you?
I'm livid.
I'm worried.
I
Yeah, same.
can't believe that it's.
But I
just
think
can't
if
believe
you look
it's-
at Clarry and his reaction that was, put on the news, he's obviously extremely upset as well.
as he would
I
be.
genuinely I agree with what you were saying, Sam. Was saying I think it's probably mismanagement, but I don't think there's anything else to it. Like I still feel like he's a professional trainer. All those rumors are wrong about him. I don't know why it's flared up again, but you go to the high performance staff and they'll be able to answer that question. But it's really annoying timing for us, and I feel like if there was something else that was wrong, he wouldn't be reacting the way that we saw him. Like, he clearly thought that he was close, and then he's twanged it again. So
I just don't understand why he would use the word complex. Like, what's complex about a hamstring? Like, you do a hamstring. They have scans for everything these days. Like, they can tell you this is a 3 to 4, this is a 5 to 6, this is a grade 1, 2, or 3 tear. Like, the sports scientists, that they're ahead of the game now, and the fact that it's been re-injured is just like baffling.
But
like this shit would happen like early 2000s, late 90s stuff.
Why?
Like the re-injuring of it just doesn't happen.
the questions that journalists need to ask is really if he had done his hamstring, like, why on earth was he training the day after? Like, that's the thing that I'm worried about. Like, I don't know, and then the infection came across. It sounds like it's all legitimate.
Does it though?
Well,
Does it actually sound like it's legitimate?
Well, why would
I
he?
wanted to-
Why else would he be acting like that on the training track if he hadn't re-injured himself? Like, do you think it's
No,
something?
I know that. I know that part. I'm aware of that part. But I think duty of care, negligence, carelessness, somewhere at some point something has happened where I don't want to go out on a limb and say this is what I think has happened because it's such a weird, strange situation, but I can't help but think that either Clayton's gone against the advice of the medical staff at some point and he's pushed too hard, or there's been some negligence on the behalf of the medical staff themselves to rush him back on the track. But again, that's a pretty shit answer.
I think it's purely. Sorry,
Fuck.
can I just jump in? I think it's purely a medical thing, and the only reason I think that is because why would have Simon Goodwin, in the last 3-4 weeks, in all of his press conferences, he's come out and said, "I think he's going to be okay this week." If he knew that it was like a 8-week injury, he would have just said, "Nah, he's no good." Like, what's the point of stringing everyone along? Like, he said before training, he just needs to get through this training session and he'll play. So if he actually knew that there was something else going on, he would have.
No, he's re-injured
Yeah.
it. I know that part, but I'm saying at some point during his rehabilitation, something's gone awry. Should he have not been on the track yesterday? Was he not actually up to it? Was Clayton pushing too hard? Was Clayton lying? Was he saying that he was okay to get on the track and he was feeling fine? I don't know. But the fact that he's re-injured it, I'm with Marca. Like,
I think it's just
It's
poor. It's
how
poor.
much money do they pump into these medical departments
it's
and
a
the
Tell you what's
doctors
fucked.
and-
Where's Burjo at the moment?
and the
He's at
physios?
the
No,
Crows,
it's
isn't
not
he?
about Burjo.
Well, it is.
It's not
If
about
Burjo's
Burjo.
there, that
It
doesn't happen.
matter. Burjo's not with us anymore. It's about the people that are currently there. And I'm like, again, we're not going to point fingers because
No, we're pointing.
no,
They're pile. They are pile.
it'd be too easy. It'd be too easy to point the fingers at the medical staff and say this is on you. Maybe it's
who else is it on?
Mate, maybe it's potentially on him. Maybe he's lying about the fact that
Or he's doing too much.
That's what I'm saying. And this is the thing. We love him so much because he's a competitive beast, and maybe the competitive nature of Clayton has got the better of him in his rehab. I don't know. And no one's got the answers, and they're not going to give us a straight answer, and we're never going to get to the bottom of it because Melbourne have led with it's a complex hamstring injury, right?
The old complex.
But it's incredibly frustrating as a supporter base when your most prized asset isn't getting on the park, and we're feeling it all. And I mean, obviously he'd be feeling it more than any other player. The silver lining in all of this, it's clearly the fact that if and when he gets back, let's say round 20. I think round 20 is the Richmond game. We get him back for the last 4 games of the season, right? And if we can get through this period and keep our heads above water and we can get some wins on the board and we can fix our forward connection, we get Clayton Oliver back with a month left of footy to find his touch, to reintegrate himself back into the team.
He doesn't need to find his touch.
I was
He'll
going to
come
say the
straight
same
back
thing.
in.
True.
If he's fit,
True.
I guarantee
But
you, he'll come
that's-
back and he'll get over 30.
Yeah.
no, 100%.
But that's big. Getting him back a month out as opposed to getting like a Fritsch situation. Fritsch might come back in, he might play a final and not have much
I'm going to put a line
impact.
through Fritsch for the rest of the year.
So then, if we win the next, so who we got?
No. 1 week at a time.
We got Saints, Brisbane. No, fuck 1 week at a time. We got Saints, Brisbane, Adelaide. Let's just say we win
All 3.
all 3. and Clarry comes back. How flaggy is that?
yeah.
Oh, it's very flaggy.
You know what? I'm feeling good again.
If we win this week, it's all
flat.
about. Yeah, for upper quarter time, it's flat.
If we
Are you
kick,
gonna watch it?
Yeah, what are you
I
doing?
don't want to watch it.
what are you doing? Why won't you watch it?
I've got birthday drinks.
Birthday drinks.
You'll be watching.
I'll
You'll
be
be
watching.
Yeah.
100%.
You'll be watching. Should we get to the teams? Have we finished the Clayton?
Yeah, we're done
Chat.
with that.
Okay.
I got to go in a minute.
Yeah. The good news is there's a few players that have been dropped that deserve to be dropped. So selection integrity is spot on this week. It hasn't been spot on in recent weeks, but I'll get to it. So Spargo comes in, which I think is spot on. I
Mhm.
think we definitely need him
We
back.
touched on that.
Yeah.
We know why.
We need him back in the team. We've got Jimmy Jordan who comes back in.
Yeah.
Probably.
Always good to have a sub.
Well, he'll actually be on the field this week.
Yeah, well, Melksham will be sub.
I think you're right. I think Jake the Snake might be. Or although I think Jake the Snake is still in the side.
It'd be huge if he was.
No, Jake's not the sub. So
Really?
no. So Spargo, Jimmy Jordan, and Taj, and then out.
Spargo's a weird sub, by the way. Don't make him sub.
Nah, weird sub.
Play him the full game.
Yeah,
He's
he's
also
just not an impact player
Good
like
skills.
that.
He can have 10 touches but create 4 goals.
Yeah. If he's a sub, then he gets what? Like 3 touches?
Yeah.
Yeah. And create 3 goals.
Okay, he's not a bad sub.
Also, we've got Taj in, of course. Very excited about Taj.
That's a feel-good story.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
He deserves it.
What did he have? 27 and 3?
Yeah, he's just been playing really well the last few weeks. He's been great. He's been kicking goals too.
Imagine that.
That'd be nice. Fritter's out, obviously.
Ugh.
Harms omitted.
Yeah,
Just
so,
wait
yeah.
for a second. Where does Taj play?
Wing.
Will he play wing in the seniors?
Maybe wing half forward, I reckon. Somewhere there. Somewhere or there.
So we're getting on Taj first goal.
Yeah. 100%. What would he be paying? 51?
Other player.
Probably as much as his dad from the Brownlow.
True. The amount of times he champed him in the video as well.
Yeah.
And Taj is calling him Ledge.
Calls his dad Ledge.
Yeah, that's mental. No
That's-
way, Ledge.
Yeah.
No
was
way,
huge.
sport.
Yeah.
Cobber.
Muscles.
So James Harms omitted. Joel Smith omitted. The Nuggets
will be happy.
He'd be very happy. Can't wait to see his messages coming through.
Few people are happy about
Do you think Joel Smith will ever play a game for us again?
I don't think so.
Don't know. Honestly, don't know. And Cade Chandler admitted, which is fair.
Good omissions. The only one that
No Jacob Van Rooyen.
is lucky is, again, A and B.
Yeah.
I just don't think he'll ever be dropped.
He's a pressure player. He's one of the number one pressure players in the competition. He will never be dropped if he keeps those stats up. So what he doesn't give us in terms of finesse and skill execution.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else.
Can we...
And skill is probably the most
mind
important
some skill and,
part of the game.
And goal kicking instead.
Yeah.
Fumbles McGee.
Anyway.
Emergencies, Van Rooyen, Harms, Smith and Chandler. Maybe JVR's the emergency. I'd like that. Out of all those emergencies, I would love it to be JVR.
Yeah.
Personally. Like, what an amazing sub to bring on maybe late in the third if we're chasing a goal because we've kicked 5-16 under a roof at the time.
All right, I got to bounce.
You got to bounce?
Yeah.
And Melksham stays in the team, Marca. What do we think about that?
I don't mind it.
Yeah.
He kicks goals.
Yeah.
He can finish. He can hit a target.
Yeah.
Hits people as well.
He does. He sticks up for his mates.
Anyway.
And bashes his teammates.
Go Dees, I guess.
Sticks up for his mates. See you, Marca.
See you, boys.
Mate,
See you, mate.
it's been a pleasure getting dark with you. You were very dark tonight.
Oh, yeah. And if we lose next week...
Oh. Yeah, nah. I think we'll just take
I feel
a
like
week
the
off.
walkout almost says it all.
Yeah, the walkout's
Like,
big.
I don't reckon that would have happened if we'd won.
Nah, I reckon he would have cancelled his dinner or pushed it back later.
I don't reckon he has dinner.
He just wants to leave.
He just wants to go.
So the interesting thing about our forward line mix is this. Maybe Harrison Petty will go forward. He might. Because
Possibly.
it's a bit smaller. Or Melbourne have said it's a really quick deck at Marvel and we can't afford to have too many players chasing shadows when the ball bounces out, which makes sense because if you've got Ben Brown in your forward line, as we saw on the weekend, the guy's got quicksand in his boots.
Mm.
He won't be able to apply any defensive pressure when the ball bounces out. So I think we're going smaller for a reason. I don't believe in the Petrarca playing at full forward rumour that's come through. I think it's just it's a smaller forward line setup. Jake Melksham might play a defensive role on one of the Saints backmen as well, which I think might happen. And then I reckon you go smaller at a deck like Marvel just purely because it's so slingshot. It's it's like ping pong there.
Mm.
It bounces out so quickly. So as much as I would have liked JVR and the team, I can understand why they've done it for that reason. But I mean, the onus is on these guys when we say it all the time. Pickett, Nibbler, Spargo. It's the smalls that need to apply that pressure and they need to hit the scoreboard as well. I've no doubt Ben Brown will hit the scoreboard under a roof. He loves that venue. Think about his time playing for North.
Yeah, I think when we talk about Ben Brown, like you've got to remember, as you said, quicksand, I get that. But he is a forward that if you hit him, he'll mark it
100%.
and he'll kick the goal.
Yep.
So last week, the conditions weren't for him at all. And I actually didn't think he was that bad in terms of the conditions and the delivery that he got. He didn't really have a look. I think he could easily kick, 3-4 goals if he gets some delivery on Saturday. And even, someone like Cozzy, I think, again, can really step up his game. I know he had 19 touches and kicked a goal, so he wasn't that bad, but we need him to have multiple goals.
Definitely. The other interesting thing for St Kilda is Billings comes in, Cordy comes in. He's actually been really good, a revelation for St Kilda coming across from the Dogs. Zach Jones comes in. That they desperately need a bit of run and carry. They've been pretty stagnant. They haven't been playing that expansive brand in the past 6-7 weeks, the Saints. Brad Hill's injured. Jack Higgins is injured. Josh Battle's out injured. And Ryan Burns has been omitted, who's a bit of a running machine, but has been out of sorts. So Brad Hill being out's big. I reckon, because they'll lose that springboard off D50.
Good ball user.
Jack Higgins can hit the scoreboard. He's a tricky forward. And Josh Battle's just kind of like an unsung hero for them in the same way that I guess Harrison Petty is for us at the moment. So they're pretty big outs. I would have thought they'll love Zach Jones coming in if he's tidy with his disposal, because he can butcher it a little bit.
He won't be.
I hope he's messy. The other interesting thing about St Kilda is if you look at their back line, Cordy, Dougal Howard, who's a whipping boy for them, and Cal Wilkie, who's actually a gun. But if I look at those three, it's three talls, and Melbourne are potentially going with that smaller setup. I like the idea of potentially running them off their feet. If we can lower the eyes and not bomb in high and long, we might actually get the better of them with our forward mix, which has been obviously a massive problem for us. I reckon that's the theory and the reason why we're doing it. Grundy can obviously push forward. Max can obviously push forward at times. I think Harrison Petty's now settled in the back line. So I think it's going to be a smaller mix on a really quick deck. Just got to get better at ground ball. We've been awful at crumbing and getting numbers to the contest in our forward line. It's bounced out way too quickly.
It'll be dry.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't had that for a while. So it'll be dry. It'll be quick. We'd like that. I have a good feeling about this week. I think we win and then maybe carry some confidence into the Lions.
Yeah, I would love that. I just want to be having a beer with you post-game at Platform 28, just feeling sprightly.
I think we will.
I just want that feeling back. I couldn't want that back more. Like, King's birthday feels so long ago.
It does. Well, those 10-day breaks were not fun.
No.
So that's a good thing about this. Sort of Band-Aids ripped off. Let's respond.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things with this team at the moment is generally when we find ourselves in the last couple of years in a position like this, where backs against the wall, the media is getting into us, we generally do respond.
Find a way.
So if we don't respond this week, we have some serious issues that are bigger than what the team is that is fielded. I'll be really worried, but I expect us to bounce back.
I do as well, and I think you're right. You hit the nail on the head. Adversity, we've shown over the course of 2021, we did it. I think we had that horrible loss against GWS at the G. We bounced back in the next week. We beat Port in Adelaide. Last year, there were numerous examples where we bounced back. One of the best examples was when we lost to the Bulldogs under the roof. They were kicking goals out of their ass. We couldn't put them to bed. And the next week, Viney was inspired, wrecking ball. We beat Freo on a Friday night. We got our shit together. We lost to Collingwood in round 21. We came out the next week, the Cozzy goal against Carlton, found a way to win, and then we finished it off against Brisbane when our position, again, was threatened. So every time we've had some adversity with our top 4 spot, and even in games, think about round 23 game against Geelong in 2021 when Max kicks a goal after the siren. That was to earn a chance to choose wherever we wanted to play the home qualifying final.
Yeah.
And not go and play Port in Adelaide. And we're 44 points down the third quarter and we found a way. Funnily enough, in the grand final, when our backs are against the wall, we're 19 points down. We look like we're completely cooked.
Bond kicks a goal.
Bond kicks it. Melbourne found a way to get the best out of themselves. So there's something about this group, and this is why I still have a belief in them, that when we are faced with adversity, whether it's in-game or we've come off the back of a bad loss and our top 4 position is under threat, we've generally found a way to spark ourselves and get that result and that outcome that we needed. So I'm with you. That's why I actually think all of those ingredients and the way that we've been smashed in the media this week, people putting a line through us saying you're crazy if you think Melbourne can still win this thing, all the supporters commenting on different posts. Petrarca even saw that one that My Heart Beats True had put up about his goal-kicking accuracy. All the players and the coaches know they've been roasted this week. Even some of the supporters have been roasting them. We've been critical at times on the show this week, the review tonight. They know there's heat on them, and every time there's been heat on them and they've been under duress and pressure and people are saying the wheels are going to fall off and they're going to either miss finals or they're going to not make the top 4, Melbourne have found a way. So we can tip on the fact that we're not going well at the moment, But the actual history tells you that in the last 2 to 3 years, Melbourne have produced the goods when they've been in these situations.
Yeah.
We actually have. We've got a good track record when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And that's why I'm really holding on to that. And that's why I said earlier in the show that I think this game, this is in my head, I'm looking at this as like a final sort of game. Like, this is where we're at. Like, yes, we've got some outs, but are we still that same team that will respond? If not, then it's almost to the drawing board for next year.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think it would be huge alarm bells. And I say this respectfully. St Kilda have not been going well in the last 7 or 8 weeks. I feel like a lot of their youngsters like Caminiti, Philippou, Mitch Owens and the like, some of their younger players are starting to wane. There was a lot of expectation on them to perform. They were awesome earlier in the season. They were so good. They were playing above themselves.
But you look at their forward line against our backs.
Yeah. I mean, that gives me confidence when you go Dan Butler, Philippou, Owens, Caminiti, King, Gresham, and I look at the way that we're gelling as a back group. I feel like we can
our
hold
backs
them.
have that covered.
Yeah.
But then it's just kick goals.
It's just kick goals. You know, Jack Steele's playing 150, but at the same token, you know, Christian Salem's playing 150 this week.
Yeah.
And we love him. So it's,
I don't think
he's a fan
milestone
favourite.
games mean that much, to be honest.
I don't know if a 150th does. I feel like 100, 200, 300. I feel like the ones that are the 50s.
We knocked off Geelong in, who was it? Joel Corey's 300th, I think.
Who was it again? Enright.
Enright, was it? Yeah.
Enright's 300th. So,
suck it.
yeah. And then, obviously, the last point before we do predictions is you've got Rowan Marshall. And I'm trying to think who else will go in and do some of the resting ruck duties for him. Maybe Caminiti. Max Gorn, Brodie Grundy. We talk about it most weeks, but like they're doing a good job in there because clearances are working better. I just hope that if Max goes behind the ball, he's clunking them. He's playing that role of like filling the holes. If both Brodie Grundy and Max Gorn go forward this week, they've kicked a combined 5-5 between them the last 5 weeks. We've got to put the onus on them. They're senior players. One's our captain. One's an old, experienced veteran that we've brought across from Collingwood for big bucks, even though they're paying a significant portion of it every year. Thank you.
Cheers.
They need to step up as well. You got to kick goals. I know that Max Gorn has the most ugly technique in front of goal, and I know that Brodie Grundy's not a proven forward, and he doesn't particularly... I'm not saying he doesn't like playing forward, but it's never been his forte or his craft. Like, the onus is on those guys. If you're resting forward as well, you've got to clunk them and you've got to put them through the big sticks as well.
I feel like the number one take out of this, just before we wrap it up, is that I would be really worried if we weren't having opportunity. We have a lot of opportunity. So we literally just need to kick goals. Like, it's not a hard fix. So it's not like we dominated inside 50s. We dominated all around the ground last week. If we just convert them, we're at the Collingwood Port level. So, and I don't think it's that hard to tweak. And if we can do that over the next 3 rounds, and then we have Clarry coming back in, that's huge. I know Fritsch is a while away, but Hibbard coming back in as well. Like, I still think we have a good enough team to be pretty scary for, those big opposition teams.
Yeah, 100%. Predictions. I'll start, of course. I mean, no real confidence. No one could have any in front of goal, but yes, I part of me thinks it will start well. We'll actually start to slot them. You'll see the enthusiasm coming from the players, the confidence growing that we're actually bidding them. Tied at half time, start to break the shackles in the third, and then just a professional kill the quarter in the last, make it pretty ugly. And I think it's going to be low scoring. I think Ross obviously loves his defensive system. We don't mind it ourselves. Even though it's going to be under a roof, I think it's going to be a pretty ugly, dour affair. Something in the vicinity of 75, 80 points to about 60, and we win by 4 goals.
Yeah.
Here we go.
No. I genuinely, I think we'll score over 100 points.
100 what?
I
199.
No. I'm gonna do a serious one this time. I think that
coming.
I think that we're gonna start really well. You said, like, I can just feel it. Like, all this press about us being shit, and it's facts. Like, we're not kicking goals. It hasn't been great. Like, I just feel like we're gonna have a good start. I think Petraka's gonna kick a goal early. I think Tajwa Woden is going to kick a couple. That will jam everyone up. I reckon, and sorry, Derek, I think it's going to be over at sort of quarter time. And I'm trying to say an honest opinion here. Like, I think we'll win. I'm not going to go that big. I think we'll win by 140 points, and that should be it.
Love it.
What do you reckon, Derek?
Played it down for so long. Played it down for so long. No.
Are you going to put a bet against us? Or?
He always bets against us, Derek, our producer. We love
Derek
it.
now lives in a gold house.
Yeah. Yeah, he lives in Toorak, in Melbourne heartland. All right, well, we'll wrap it up there. Adzy, thank you.
Mate, thanks for having me.
Mate, big thanks to Marca. Hopefully he's in next week. It all depends on whether we win or not.
Yeah.
Which would be big. Would have been great to do the pile tonight, but couldn't do the pile without Nuggets.
Hopefully, though,
no pile.
we don't need to do it next week.
I really hope we don't have to do it ever again.
There's an issue if Nuggets is on the podcast next week.
Massive issue.
Because it means that
it's pile.
We've lost and it's pile.
So for the listeners' sake, this week, the whole message thread was about doing the pile tonight.
We held back.
We only held back because Nuggets wasn't here. If Nuggets was here, we would have indulged in a pile for 40, 50 minutes.
Yeah, he wasn't even going after players as well. He's going after all sorts
of people. He's going after me.
Pert.
No, he's going after everyone.
Yeah.
It was huge. But you're right. Hopefully the pile never comes back.
Thanks, Nuggets.
Thanks to everyone that listens to the show. Dees, just kick straight. Win a game of footy.
Just fucking win.
Give us that winning feeling again, please.